Guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another video of ours. Today we've got the Premier Division show and there's a lot to get through over the games over the weekend and Friday evening. They were all on Friday evening, weren't they, as well? So some interesting results, some great goals, some interesting talking points. We have to start off at Tallaght Stadium where Shamrock Rovers went down 2-1 at home to Drogheda United, which was a big shock. Rovers to 79% possession of the game, 29 shots. Mind you, only 9 were on target. Drogheda had 3 shots on target and they were clinical on the night, something they haven't been in the last few weeks. We'll get into the goals in a minute, but Freddie Draper gave Drogheda the lead in 44 minutes, right in half time. What a time to score. Dale Rooney after 57 minutes made it 2-0. Gaffney pulled one back in 79 to make it 2-1. You're probably thinking, especially if you're a Drogheda fan, that Rovers will probably score in the last minute to get a draw or something like that, but it didn't happen. And so Shamrock Rovers' second defeat of the season, second at home actually as well. They're unbeaten away from home. And it's a bit of a blow for them, considering they were top of the league. Derry have leapfrogged them now. But Drogheda was their first win in 7 matches. They have been playing quite well in a lot of their games, just haven't been scoring goals. And, you know, I suppose they deserve a rub of the green this game as well, because I suppose early on, you know, Rovers piled on the pressure and had a number of opportunities in the game that they didn't take. And you do feel if they'd taken one of them, they would have went on to win the game. They went 1-0 up, but they didn't do that. Colin McCabe was forced to make some good saves in the game, particularly that first half, I think, and they defended very well as well. The likes of Conor Keeley getting brilliant blocks in to stop Burke, etc, etc. We know Graham Burke, when he gets time and space, you can't give him time and space, and Drogheda didn't give him time and space. Neil Ferrugia was causing a lot of issue in that first half and the second half, actually, playing really well. He had a chance as well where he kind of scuffed. He wasn't quite balanced, and McCabe was able to save it easily enough. And Rovers, I suppose, from their point of view, couldn't get the breakthrough. And, you know, it was a long pass forward from Conor Keeley, a brilliant pass forward down the line to Freddie Draper, who works very hard. I've been saying it for weeks. We've been talking about him. His work rate is absolutely brilliant and he's a nuisance, but just hasn't been taking his chances. But this was his 4th goal of the season now, and what a goal it was. Like, he turns Sean Hoare inside out, to be honest with you, and isolates him, used Pico Lopez as a shield, and kind of bends one into the far corner to give Drogheda the lead. And you know, it's why he deserves, because as I said, he's been playing well apart from the scoring of goals. He's been a nuisance, he causes issue, and there's a lot of strikers in the league that don't even do that. But it was a brilliant goal, really, wasn't it? Individual goal.
Yeah, and the Dale Rooney goal, that's probably the best team goal of the season, probably will be as well.
Yeah, and what a goal that was from Dale Rooney. When I say from Dale Rooney, from the team, really. I mean, the passing, intricate passing, in their own half to beat the Shamrock Rovers press with 1-2 touch passing and release Luke Heaney free on the right, who gets a brilliant ball into the box. Great touch by Rooney and great finish. It was a brilliant
team goal.
You're not going to see a better team goal this season, are you, than that one?
But like for Shamrock Rovers, like they'll be disappointed not to take at least one of their chances in the first half. Like, because they probably would have won the match if they took one of their chances in the first half. Yeah,
you do feel if they took the lead, they probably would have went on to win the game, to be honest. But look, Drogheda aren't going to care about that. And it's a massive 3 points for Drogheda as well, with Cork winning as well. I know he put some couple of points behind Sligo as well. So a bonus win. I think Drogheda now in the next 2 games of UCD and Cork as well. So we'll get on. We'll talk about, we'll give our predictions for Friday's games and Saturday's games after this, but this is definitely a bonus 3 points for Drogheda. Massive 3 points. And as I said, Shamrock Rovers will be disappointed. They're still very much in the hunt, obviously, and it's good for the league that, you know, it's so close in that kind of way. But yeah, massive 3 points to Drogheda. Full credit to them. And I suppose we move on. Anything else to say on that, Billy, before we go? No. Cork City 1, Sligo Rovers 0. A finish at Turner's Cross, and Rory Keating scored his 6th goal of the season in this game. Sligo obviously were very poor last week, missing a lot of players home to Shelbourne. They weren't really any better in this game, to be honest. Still missing Mata. Hartman came on at half time, not fully fit yet. But Cork City deserved to win this match, to be honest, in most of the chances in the game. And it's interesting because we've got Keating and Tunde up front, and I think that gives them a little bit of extra. Tunde, you know, he can play the ball long to Tunde and he will be a nuisance. Sometimes I think he needs to get his head up. I think he had a number of opportunities, didn't he, in the game where obviously some strikes where maybe he could have done better, especially there was one in the first half where he blazed over, but there was another few opportunities where maybe he should have played the ball into somebody, the likes of Keishing or I think it was Matt Healy running through at one stage as well, just to get your head up. But he causes a nuisance Sunday, he really does, and I like the way they're playing Keishing and him up front now. Keishing takes his goal brilliantly. It's a good move from Cork actually, and it's a lovely through ball from Brian Whitmarsh, and Keishing just, he kind of, the way he takes that first touch, he kind of, you know, he brings the pace of the ball into his path so he can take one touch and then a lovely finish, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a very good goal. I thought Cork City were the better team though anyway. They deserved to win. They had like most of the chances as well, so yeah. And I feel like though Tunde should have scored at least one of the chances, especially the first one where he just blazed over the bar.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to just take his time.
Yeah, a bit of composure, but he gives you other things. Probably lacks that, but a bit of composure, especially when sometimes there's a better option as well, but he does cause havoc. Healy was sent off, wasn't he, for Cork City? That's their fourth send off of the season, second yellow. Maybe a little harsh. I can understand why it was given though. It wasn't like the Keane Coleman the other week, which is just a disgraceful decision, to be honest with you. But, you know, from Sligo's point of view, you know, they did have Mahon back in the team and Pinnaker was playing and, you know, Morhan was back in the team. So still strong enough team. Like, you've Bulger there, obviously, as well, and Hutchison, who's been good this season as well. So they'll be disappointed with the performance, like, but they seem to be relying on Mata for the goals. Obviously, he's been missing, hasn't he, the last two games? He's top scorer in the league. And they haven't really looked at threat. So that's a worry for the Mata. He will be back soon, but, you know, to be relying on him is a little bit disappointing. And it just brings them in a little bit. I know Cork are still, 7 points behind them in the league, I think. But, you know, Sligo would have ambitions to challenge them for Europe, and you just wonder, are they falling away from, you know, that little pack of Dundalk, Pats, and I suppose Bows you could throw in that pack now as well, couldn't you? And Shelbourne, so you'd wonder, are they falling away from that pack? They're a tough team to judge at times. They have had bad injuries to key players, and, you know, I know they'll be back, but they're losing ground in the meantime. I think that's kind of the point. But Cork City, big result for them. Big for them to get a clean sheet as well, because they haven't kept too many of them this season. They were missing Ali Gilchrist as well and still managed to keep a clean sheet, so they'd be delighted with that. Onto the Brandywell with Derry City, you know, not surprising, beat UCD by 4-1 and go back top of the league. That's the fourth win in a row for Derry now. The good news for them, Dumligan was back in the side. Mark Connolly is very close to being back as well. And, you know, before we get into the goals as such, I mean, just looking at their bench, you know what I mean, on the day, I mean, look at that, I'm just looking at the lineups here. On the day, you had Graydon was on the bench, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Diallo was on the bench. You know, the likes of Ward came on, scored, and Adam O'Reilly on the bench. I mean, yeah, it's quality. I mean, Patrick McElhenney wasn't there, like, either, like, you know what I mean? But it's mad, really. But Jordan McNiff scored his sixth goal of the season to give them the lead, and you know, they completely dominated the game. It was the Michael Duffy show, really. Duffy scored 2 goals. He also set up McInnes for that goal as well, and Ward scored one late on. UCD Wells got their goal as well. But the goals, I mean, the McInnes goal, yeah, it was a good goal, but Duffy does brilliantly to get to, you know the byline essentially, and lifts it up you know, to the back post, and McInnes finishes. But Duffy's 2 goals were excellent, I thought, to be honest. You know, the little 1-2 at Patchin, where Patchin flicks it around the corner, but Duffy continues his run and picks it up, first touch, takes in a stride, lovely finish. Duffy again, where a lovely little head down gets in behind that,
the keeper,
and the little lob over the goalkeeper. But the header was important, that deft header I think was crucial. And Graydon runs through, you know, uses his pace and chips the ball over. It was gone wide in my opinion, so Ward done the right thing, and he finished it off to make it 4-1. UCD had made it 3-1 though, Wells' goal. And they did have a chance to make it 3-2, to be fair. Brian Maher was forced to make a good save as well, so Derry will be a little bit disappointed with that they maybe got a little bit sloppy. But, you know, all in all, job done for Derry, top of the league, players coming back. Thoughts?
I'm not really surprised that Derry City bet UCD 4-1 though, but I thought the goal from Michael Duffy where he headed it, I think it was a perfect header though, because if he hit it to, like, let's say No, how do you
It's
call it?
straight into his path
Yeah.
though. It doesn't go left
Yeah,
or
so-
right.
so
It's
he-
like it's in a stride. You can just run straight
Yeah, you
onto
can
it.
just run straight onto
Yeah.
it, and so he doesn't have to stop at all,
No.
and then he just
Chips
scores.
it over the
Yeah,
goalkeeper.
chips it
Yeah,
over
great
the keeper.
composure, and Duffy's the best winger in the league. There's no doubt about it. And look, he's a really good player. Very important for Derry City as well. And as I said, they're getting stronger now. It's going to be interesting if they do have more or less a fully fit squad, who's going to play more often than not, kind of a thing. But they're in Europe as well, so the timing of getting a fully fit squad is going to be huge. So it'll be interesting to see how they navigate Europe and the league, something they're not really used to, not like Shamrock Rovers are used to be fair. So they're back top of the league. I still think it's between them and Rovers, and we'll move on to Dundalk and Bowls. I finished Dundalk 2, Bohemians 2 at Oriel Park, and obviously the happiest manager here will be Declan Devine after being 2 down that first half. Hooban scoring very early from a corner kick. His fourth of the season. He's been out in and out through injury, but it's such important to the team, and he scores so many important goals for Dundalk. I always say that. He's so important to the team. By the 30th minute, they were 2-0 up. It goes down as a Talbot OG. He's a bit unlucky here, but Conor Malley, brilliant strike that hits the bar and comes back down. He's a bit unlucky Talbot, but Dundalk was all Dundalk in the first half. Talbot though will be disappointed with the first goal, and it's something he does regularly, in my opinion. Not my opinion, he does regularly. Kind of gets caught in no man's land than that. I don't know. I don't know. I see a lot of games in the league live and that as well, and there's 3 or 4 keepers at least that rate higher. He's severely overrated. I mean, he makes some good saves at times, like most keepers do, but I don't know. He flaps. He comes out for crosses. He mistimes them. Things like that. It's poor. It's poor, especially a goalkeeper. They have hands basically. So no, it is poor. Like, you got to get it right. If you get it wrong, stay in your line. But and that was early in the game and gave Dundalk obviously a kick up. That's what you want when you're home, isn't it? But in the second half, Dundalk sat back a little bit, and this is the difference with Bowles this season. They haven't got the quality to go on and win the league. They never did. We're going to have the quality, but this is the difference with them this season. There's bite and character in the team, and you have to give Devine credit for that. Absolutely. To come from 2 down again, another match where 2 down at half time Dundalk, are they coming back getting a draw last season? Not a chance. But they did do, and McDade scored from a Jordan Flores corner, a header. And then the final goal, the equaliser, was Ali Coop plays a beautiful ball, his 5th assist of the season, into a very dangerous area. And anything can happen there. You can not get a touch, you can get a touch off a defender, but as it is, Novak gets the final touch and there's not much Shepherd can do. It's all about getting the ball into a brilliant area, and that's what they did. But Dundalk did have a chance before that, about 5 minutes before that. Robbie McCourt should really score. I mean, shouldn't he? It's good football. McCourt drives into an area. There's not much in front of him really, and all he has to do is pick out the corner and he hits it wide, and that would have been 3-1 and game over, and Dundalk get the points. It's a massive point for Bowles because it stops Dundalk from winning. That kind of way. Dundalk were the closest team to them in the league, and I do think Bowles are coming back into that little pack a little bit where they'll be fighting for third. With the likes of Dundalk, Pats, perhaps even Shelbourne. But overall, like, obviously you support Bohemians, you have to be happy with the point and the fight back, don't you?
Definitely, yeah. If that was last season, like, it would have been 2-0, I'd say, to Dundalk.
Maybe more. Maybe they would have went on one it easier in the second half. There's no doubt Bohemians would have given up. I've seen them give up so many times last season, but as I said, they're built different in that way this year, and that's what gives them a chance. That's the big difference with them this year, in all honesty. I mean, the quality isn't an awful lot better, but the attitude is, like, you know what I mean. It's good to see James Clark back in the team as well. I think James Clark gives them something as well, and I think he's a really good player. Actually, he can drive from midfield and that kind of thing. But Dundalk, from their point of view, look, they're back in the race after. They'll be disappointed to get the draw in the end, but they are back in the race after a, I suppose, disappointing few weeks. But they sat back a bit in the second half. Bowles got at them, they couldn't get out, and Bowles deserved the point in the end, even though Dundalk probably should have got that third goal.
Pat Hooban's first goal away. But if you're a goalkeeper and you're going up for a corner like that, you have to either catch it or punch it away. If you think you're not going to get it, then just stay on the line.
No, you have to be able to time them right. I mean, look, goalkeepers do that occasionally, but it is a flaw in Talbot's game, I think.
But you can't do it like consistently.
Yeah. Now the big Dublin derby finished Talk Park, Shelbourne 0, St Patrick's Athletic 1, which was a tight encounter live in Virgin. I was at this game, and from my point of view, the first half was dreadful. I thought Shelbourne had nothing to offer going forward. They were well organised as usual, you know what I mean? They're fit side, they get across, they block the spaces, but Pats played into their hands from Pats' point of view by playing, the football was too slow. They had a lot of control of the ball, the football was too slow. One proper chance in the first half really where Ben McCormack hits an effort from about 30 yards and hits the bar. When I say one proper chance, it's not a clear-cut chance, but obviously it's close. Good effort. Shells did have a chance to JJ Lunny from outside the box, which he hits it wide. That was pretty much it in the first half, and I suppose in the second half Shelbourne didn't improve at all and Pats did. I suppose Pats upped the tempo in terms of the way they passed the ball a bit quicker and that, and started to get control of the game, where Shelbourne didn't improve at all. And I know Damien Duff talked about it, and he was right in the post-match, his post-match interview or whatever, and he says they just couldn't get up for whatever reason. It's strange for a Dublin derby, etc, etc. They have another one next week as well, but yeah, I thought Shelbourne were poor in the night, and I thought Pats, without being brilliant, deserved to win. And the one player that was excellent, I thought, was Chris Forrester. I think he completely controlled the second half. He takes a piss at times, nutmegs and things like that, but he controlled the second half. He should have scored at the end, actually. You know, he tried to be a bit too audacious, I think, and take it round Kearns, which he does, but I think when he had him lined up, I think he should have placed it into the net, to be honest. Yeah, to be honest with you, but he'll be a little bit disappointed with that, because that was a chance for him to go level. He's 8 goals this season. Apart from the way he plays and his composure and his such importance of beating presses and keeping Pats moving in the middle of the park, he also has 8 goals, and he's actually scored more goals than anyone from play this season. Matt has scored 9, but he scored 3 penalties, you know what I mean? So yeah, you could say many ways he was the difference. Sam Kirsch was 17-year-old scoring his first goal for St Patrick's Athletic from a set piece, and I believe Shelbourne conceded 7 goals from set pieces this season. They've defended really well, but strangely conceded a lot from set pieces. Before that though, I think Owen Doyle should score. I mean, Forrester cuts in, does brilliantly, good save from Kearns, and Doyle hits it, and Griffin, you can say, does well to clear it off the line, but he kind of hits it at Griffin when the corner's there. But look, I mean, there's not much more you can say at this stage about Owen Doyle. Personally, I think Carty or Lonergan should be given a run. I know people have been a bit critical of Tommy Lonergan, but scored a lot of goals for UCD last year. Scored 5 goals in pre-season, hasn't got a run. He hasn't played well when he's on the pitch, but Freddie Draper took time to get going for Drogheda, a young lad as well. And I just think there's more likely that, say, a Lonergan's going to improve than an Owen Doyle's going to improve at this stage. And I think a goal or two from Lonergan could see him into gear. At times, Pats as well try and play this side ball down the channel to Doyle, and Doyle just can't get there. Like, you kind of go, what's the point then? But overall, Pats deserve to win. They feel like they, in a little way, grounded it out a little bit. It's still difficult to beat Shelbourne at Talca Park. They don't concede many goals, so job done from a Pats point of view. And they obviously go above Shelbourne in the league at the moment in 26 points. Again, all very close, like, you know what I mean? I mean, looking at the league table there, Derry on top 34, Rovers 33, Bows on 29 with a game in hand, Pats 26, Dundalk 26, Shelbourne with a game in hand 24, Sligo 19, Drogheda 17, Cork 12, UCD 6, and all those teams have also played 16 games. There's only 4 teams, that have played 17 games, Derry, Shamrock, Rovers, Pats and Dundalk. But the Pats and Dundalk play next week as well, and we'll get on to that soon. But as for Shelbourne, still only 4 defeats this season. They've only conceded 11 goals. They've only scored 16 though as well. But they were very blunt in attacking this game, to be honest with you. And they did have one really good chance though. A beautiful ball played over the top, laid on from Jack Moylan. And Kyle Robinson's at the far post and heads it wide. Maybe Kyle Field should have went for the far corner. It's hard to know. But again, a striker who isn't getting a lot of games, and that can leave you a bit rusty in my opinion. Carty at the other end did have a very good chance for Pats, but he was a nuisance when he came on. I thought his nuisance set up Forrester, if you like, for that chance as well. So I think if you're not scoring goals as a striker, at least be a nuisance, and I think Carty did that for Pats. But I suppose it's a good win for Pats ultimately. Thoughts overall?
Yeah, I thought second half, like, Pats probably were the better team. They probably deserved to win it. It was a good header by Sam Curtis as well too. Mm-hmm. It was like right in the bottom corner. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not saving it really, I don't think. And in the first half,
no chance saving that.
I forgot his name, but the long shot, it was so
Ben
close.
McCormick?
Yeah, Ben McCormick. It was like so close to going into the top corner. It was very unlucky. And Kyle Robinson, he has to hit in the far corner though.
Do you hear that, Kyle? If you're watching, Billy's teaching you now. He'll know what that means. But it's as you say, Pats probably deserve to win.
He needs to get more game time though, just like a few other strikers in the league as well.
Yeah. Interesting though that Sean Boyd is back soon as well for Shelbourne as well, so he'll be a big plus. He gives them a different dynamic as well, although Moylan's done well in that false 9 role, obviously. On to Friday and Saturday, we'll just give our predictions. Another big Dublin derby, Bohemians and Shelbourne, and Duff wasn't happy with their application against Pats. This is another Dublin derby. It's a North Dublin derby, not much between Drogheda and Vinsborough, obviously. Big game for both sides, really. Shelbourne beat Bows earlier on in the season, 1-0 at Tolka Park as well. And I don't think there's much between the sides. I think Bows have had a better start of the season, to be honest, but there's not much between the sides at all. And I think this one will be fiery. I think Shelbourne will be up for this one after, I'm not saying not up for the Pats game, but not really getting into it, let's say. So I think they'll be determined for this one. Interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, very interesting. I'm going to go with 1-0 Bows.
1-0 Bows.
1-0 Bows.
Yeah.
It will be a very entertaining though, like 1-0 though, I feel like.
I think it will be tight as well, but I'm going to go... I'll go 1-1. I think it'll finish 1-1. I think a draw in this one. Cork City and Shamrock Rovers. Obviously Cork at Turner's Cross drew 4-4 earlier on in the season in Tala. Obviously winning last time out. Rovers will be very disappointed with their last result. Their away form has been much better this season, which is funny as well. Do you see Rovers bouncing back?
Yeah. 3-1 Shamrock Rovers for me.
Yeah, I think they'll score goals. I mean, flying away from home terms, scoring goals. Cork. It'd be interesting to see if they do play Tunde and Keishin together as such. I know Tunde's been slightly right, but even so, I think they will. But I think, Rovers, I think they'll win it all right. 2-0. Drogheda United and UCD, and obviously after that brilliant result against Rovers, Kevin Doherty would be keen to back that up at home to UCD. And he probably would have targeted the UCD and the Cork game as well, so to get that result in Rovers. But wouldn't it be very disappointing if they won away to Rovers and say lost at home to UCD?
Yeah, I'll go with Drogheda will win 2-0 against UCD.
Yeah, I think actually be closer than people think. I think UCD, we've said it before, can play football. They can see the goal. They can see goals as well. I think with Drogheda though, they should be confident ahead of this one at Weavers Park. Their away form generally has been better this season. In terms of results, some of the performances I've seen them at home have been actually quite good. They've just been unlucky in some of the games, losing a few tight games or drawing a few games. But yeah, I fancy them to win this, and I think UCD, aren't as strong as last season. I think they're in trouble. I think, unlike say Finn Harps, who they caught, I think Cork have a bit more in them, to be honest with you, than Finn Harps last season. So it's going to be difficult for UCD, but I think Drogheda will win this one 2-1. Bowls and Shells is a huge game, as we said, being a Dublin derby. But in terms of the table and the battle for Europe, and obviously Stephen O'Donnell coming back to his old club and all that kind of thing, Pats and Dundalk's a huge game at Richmond Park as well. They're both level in the table, and it's funny because you wouldn't have talk of O'Donnell losing his job at Dundalk, but obviously Clancy did at Pats, and I don't think there's much between both sides, to be honest with you. I know Pats under interim John Daly in the last 4 matches, they have they won 3. They beat Cork, they beat Drogheda, they obviously beat Shelbourne, and they lost to Shamrock Rovers. But in the reverse earlier on the season with Tim in charge, Pat's done the same thing. The only difference is they actually drew at Rovers, so they beat Cork, Drogheda, Shelbourne, and what I'm trying to say is I don't think there's a big difference, to be honest with you. And I don't know, Pats I still think need to bring in a manager. I think Daly's done okay, but I don't know. He is a coach. I think they could do with a manager who could maybe do better in the transfer market as such, bring in players that,
do an impact.
Yeah, but have better contacts when it comes to player recruitment. As I said, the budget was good as well. But it is a big game. The last time I met, Dundalk won 5-0, and there's no doubt that the Pats players, no matter who's in charge, are going to go out on that pitch and really want to reverse that, because that was embarrassing to say the least. And as I said, there's not much between both sides, and you look at the table now and they're beaten 5-0 by a team that there's not much between. If Pats had beaten Dundalk 5-0, you'd be saying the same thing, that kind of way. But Dundalk, good going forward. Hubin's back. I don't know if Tulloch will be back for this. Ryan O'Kane has come into the team recently and done well. Both teams strong in midfield. Pats have probably the key man and Forrester. At the back, not convinced of either team at the back still. I think Pats did defend well, to their credit, against Shelbourne as well. But this will be a bigger test. Have you seen it?
2-2. It's going to be
2-2.
goals. There's going to be goals.
Yeah, I could be as well. I don't know. I still think Pats. Yeah, I do you know what? I'll go with you. I'm going to go 2-2 as well. On Saturday, Sligo and Derry meet at the Showgrounds. Massive game. Sligo will hope to have Martin back from this. Not in good form. Derry are in good form. They've most of their players back, as we discussed reviewing the games there. But Sligo are funny. They could turn up and cause a surprise, but they're going to have to perform. There's no doubt about it. They have to perform this game. But I can't see anything other than a Derry win. Can you?
2-0 Derry.
2-0 Derry.
You'd expect Derry to win, though.
You would. It'd be interesting to see who they play up front, though. They've rotated a bit between McGonigal and Cavan in the last few weeks and that as well. But they've got goals all over the team. That's a good thing about Derry as well. Midfield, even in the back line, the guys that can get goals. Obviously, the likes of boys, McJanish from set pieces as well, and that kind of thing. But I agree with you. I'm going to go for Derry 2-0.
Yeah.
So, guys, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments. Give us a few predictions for next Friday. Any thoughts on the games gone by, and what should they do?
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on your bell notification button for more videos.
Cheers for watching. See you later, guys. Bye.
Bye.